What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Smoking Weed and Talking Mixed Martial Arts. My name is Jarrod. I'm here with my friend Paul.
What up?
And we are coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada, fight capital of the world, land of legal cannabis. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about the results of last weekend's Bare Knuckle Fight Club number 5. We're going to take a look ahead to UFC number 236 this upcoming weekend, which has not one but 2 interim title bouts at the top of it. We're going to be going over some announced fights this week. We're going to have our Fighter Who Smokes segment. And as always, we're going to kick off this episode with our Weed of the Week.
Smoke weed every day.
Now, Paul just handed me this nice little blunt here. And what is this we're smoking on, Paul?
It's my retirement.
It's your retirement. It's your 401k. You know, this is a strain I haven't had before. This is a brand new one to me. I was doing a little research. This is Florida OG crossed with East Coast Sour Diesel, which is my favorite fucking strain on the planet. So I'm looking forward to smoking this. Plus, it's a blunt, which I like. I like a little bit of the tobacco in there.
It's actually different though. It's actually made from the hemp plant.
This is a hemp blunt, not a tobacco blunt? Oh,
yeah.
shit, I didn't even know. That's pretty cool. I like that even better. Actually, I don't think I've ever, I haven't smoked one of these this way.
Yeah, I actually picked it up over at Nubu last night. It was like a last-second thing. It's cool because they have a drive-through there. So
Yeah,
it's 24 hours. So I was there at like 3 a.m. when I got off work. So I was like fucking rolled up there, and they have like all these different like rolling papers and shit pasted up to like the window and shit. I was like,
okay, yeah.
And then I was gonna get some raw cones like normal, and then this chick's like, "You like blunts?" I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Well, I got these new ones. They're like raw cones with it's a blunt instead of a cone. It's hemp plant and it's not tobacco." I was like, "Oh, hook it up with some of those."
Dude, hell yeah, that's hella cool.
I mean,
because you didn't have to roll it. I like that. I mean, we can all roll blunts just as good as the next person, but sometimes it's kind of nasty.
I suck
a
at rolling
fucking
blunts,
man. And this is pretty quick and easy, and it's shaped perfect, and it's burning nice as hell, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to have a little strawberry flavor. I don't really taste that.
I don't, but you never do with the blunt wrap. Like,
that's fine. I'd rather not, honestly, because it's just some oil they put on there.
Yeah.
But this is nice. I didn't know it was hemp. That's cool. This is good weed, too.
Yeah, I like it.
Hell yeah, I like it a lot. We got another strain here today, too. We got some Tahoe OG Kush.
Oh, yeah, Tahoe OG is always nice.
Now, Tahoe OG is, this 401k is a sativa hybrid. Tahoe OG is not a sativa. It's an indica. And it's not a hybrid either. It's a phenotype of OG Kush. Now, those of you listening may be wondering what a phenotype is. It's like when it comes to weed genetics, there's 2 main factors. One is the genotype, which you can think of that as kind of like a blueprint for what the weed could be. And then you have the phenotype, which is like the expression of that blueprint. So like depending on the characteristics of the grow operation, the nutrients being used, sun, other things available to the plant, different parts of that blueprint, they're going to come out a little bit different. That's what makes a phenotype. So this is like the best of the OG Kush line, basically.
Man.
You all right over there, brother?
Done.
It's that leaf. It is.
Yeah, I'm not used to it. I like it.
I like it too. It does make things a bit harsher than normal. I mean, obviously,
Yeah, but
you're
it makes it
smoking on a
burn
fucking
slow.
hemp leaf, but it's burning nice. I do like it better than a tobacco. The last blunt I smoked was one of those backwoods.
Yeah, remember we had that backwood?
Yeah, dipped in keef and just a hell of a mean, nasty tobacco leaf on there.
Oh yeah, it was rough, but it
my God.
it got us so high.
Dude, we got high as fuck. And then the next day I got one for myself, and I smoked the whole thing, which I was fine with the weed, but the fucking tobacco, by the time I got to the ass end of that thing by myself, it was just too much tobacco.
Huh?
Yeah, I was like, That's why I quit smoking cigarettes all them years ago. But this is nice right here. I'm digging this. Nubu dispensary, man. That's cool. I haven't been down there in a while.
It's dope, dude.
Yeah.
They got a huge variety of products. That's the best part.
Yeah, that's cool. They're on Indian land, folks. So that's why they can have a drive-through that Paul was mentioning earlier, because they don't have the same laws that we have here in the rest of the city. So they have the one and the only drive-through, and they're not a show sponsor. We're just giving you a good tip if you come out here to Las Vegas and you want.
And it's 24 hours.
Yeah, you want some weed at 3 in the morning. You can just direct your Uber or taxi driver to the drive-through at Nuwu.
Yeah, and also if you order online, you get 10% off.
Fuck yeah, order online. That's the one time I've been there. Well, actually, I've been there multiple times, but the one time I used the drive-through, I ordered online, and then I just went and picked it up.
I usually just have I have like a membership with like all the fucking dispensaries in town. Like I have a Showgirl one, a fucking all that shit, a Reef one, all like the little rewards program. So I always get like text messages from them. Nubu fucking texts me like so much, it's almost like annoying. They have hella deals all the time.
They do have hella deals, but I
think
know
it's
because
they have so many different shit, so much.
I get texts from them and Showgirl and Zenleaf every single fucking day, which is, I don't know, starting to get a little bit annoying.
Yeah.
It's like if I signed up with any more dispensaries.
App, though. That's just
yeah, that shit's cool. Zenleaf just started that too with the app. I don't know. It's a little bit too much, though. They need a different form of communication. I don't need my phone blowing up from weed dispensaries all day. Although I'm sure there's people listening that must think that's a cool problem to have, who have no dispensaries.
That's true.
So, you know.
So we should stop bitching.
Weed problems. Legal weed city problems. I get too many texts from people trying to sell me weed.
Dude, it's... I'll tell you a story after this about some shit like that. But yeah, all right, let's dive into it then. Yeah.
All right, yeah. Well, let's start off with that BKFC event, man, because the rest of our talk today is going to focus on MMA. This is not boxing. It's not MMA. It's bare knuckle fighting. They use the late 1800s, early 1900 rules, the Queensberry rules or something like that. They actually toe the line. Like, you haven't seen it. This is the only legit promotion right now, in America at least, for bare knuckle. There was another one, like, I don't even want to say their name. I don't know what it was. It was WBKFF or some shit that went out of business after one event. Yeah. This is, and screwed over a bunch of fighters. This is not them. This is Bare Knuckle Fight Club. Pay-per-view number 5 last weekend, $29.99. I was really happy for my money, dude. I got to say, I watched the whole event. I know you missed some of it.
Yeah.
I saw the whole thing start to finish. I liked every fucking thing about it, dude. Yeah. I liked that whole fucking card. I liked the pacing. I liked the ring announcer. This dude was getting into it. Yeah. Man, yeah. Some guy I never heard of. He was going off, man. I
know we took a week off, and here's the thing. We didn't talk about it, but you know what? A very similar event that was like that for me. I stayed up and watched the ONE FC.
You watched that ONE FC? See, I missed that one. Yeah.
They had great pacing, too. They had like a 15-fight card.
They just one right after the other. Same thing with this one. I didn't have time to go take a leak between fights, man. Yeah. Which is the kind of problem I like to have, because you can just pause it. Yeah. You know, the fucking... It was a great card. It was topped off, like you already said, Artem Lobov versus Jason Knight. Which, if you're not familiar with those names, they're a couple of UFC veterans.
Former UFC.
Jason Knight, not nearly as famous. Artem Lobov, who's, you know, let's be honest, he's made his name off of Conor.
Yeah, he's the GOAT, dude.
He's the GOAT. A lot of people call him the GOAT humorously online, and I do too, but I fucking love Artem, dude. And last night's fight was exactly why.
Artem put the record back on track, though. He's 15-15 now.
Well, now he's 1-0. He's undefeated in bare knuckle.
Yeah, but I'm talking about his overall combat career.
His overall combat
career. He's 15-15 now.
He's back up, yeah.
He's back to 500.
Artem does have a shitty MMA record, but you know what? That's a dude that he hasn't turned down. He hasn't padded shit.
You know what he is? He's like the Rudy of the UFC. Like, he just shows up to practice every day, gets his ass kicked, but he sometimes hangs with the big dogs. But then when it comes to, like, he gets his licks when he fights people on his level, you know?
Dude, people respect him after they fight him. Like, he fought fucking Cub Swanson, and the Cub was like, all right, yeah, you're a fucking fighter.
Even though he got fucked up by Cub Swanson.
Yeah, that had some give and take, though, in that fight. Fucking Artem's got them little T-Rex arms, man. The fact he's out there doing anything.
He's got a weird body style. His body looks like a surfboard.
Yeah. Like he doesn't have like Conor
He's got
McGregor.
Like all torso.
Conor McGregor's got a fighter's body. He's got big shoulders, long, lanky fucking arms.
Yeah, but if Conor's got like a short body, longer arms. Artem's opposite. Artem's got a long ass body, and then he's got
tiny,
these little ass arms.
little arms, man.
He looks like he looks like
he can fight though.
You know the thumb.
That shit was so good.
Thumb dudes from Spy Kids. That's what he looks
like. That's funny, man. He put on a show. That was a fucking fight. That for me, across all combat sports up to this point here, that was fight of the year thus far. For the first quarter of fucking 2019, that's it.
It was a little backyard brawlish at times.
That was the shit, though. But that's the nature of Bare Knuckle Fight Club, though. Have you seen how big that little ring is?
Yeah, there's nowhere to run.
There's nowhere to run in there. It's if you haven't seen it, folks, it's like a circle, except it has like 5 padded semi-corners kind of inserted into it. And it's kind of like bars that are padded. So it's kind of like a cross between a ring and a cage and an octagon.
Here's my thing. So, if you don't, for people out there that don't know already, this set up, I guess, a super fight against Paulie Malignaggi on June 22nd.
Yeah, former world champion, now retired, Paulie Malignaggi with a 7
I guarantee you, if Artem beats Paulie Malignaggi, he's going to box his next fight.
That would be probably the greatest thing that I could think could happen in mixed martial arts and combat sports today, right now, would be for Artem Lobov to beat the shit out of Paulie Malignaggi in a bare knuckle fight.
Possible.
Anything's possible.
Make my anything's possible when you're fighting bare knuckle.
Anything shitty could happen. Knock on wood. To the MMA gods after that, and I will be happy.
Because Artem knocks out Paulie.
I happen to be a fan of Artem, and I happen to think Paulie is a douche.
Here's the thing.
He's a douche.
It's tough for Paulie Malignaggi to come off 2 years and come into a bare knuckle fight. That's pretty intense, I think. And
he's got weak hands
but
and no power.
To his side, though, who knows what happened structurally to Artem last night?
Oh yeah.
And June is a pretty quick turnaround.
Dude, let's talk about that fight for a minute last night. I mean, it was the first 3 rounns were all Artem. Yeah. Knocked Jason Knight down in each of the first 3 rounds, which under these rule sets is a 10-8 round because it goes under the 9 or the 10-point must system. But those are 10-8 rounds. They get a standing 8 count when that happens. And by the end of the 3rd round, Jason Knight's face looked like that kid from the Goonies, Crunch, that big org motherfucker.
Spit out
looked
2
just
teeth.
like that shit. Artem knocked out 2 teeth in that fight. And then he came back. Like the 4th round, Knight hung in. And then the 5th round.
Wait, do they wear mouthpiece?
Yeah, they wear mouthpieces. 5 2-minute rounds. And they start off, there's a circle in the middle, which, like, earlier in the night, Johnny Bedford, who also put on a hell of a fight, kept calling his opponent into the circle. It was awesome. But we'll get to that fight. But, yeah, he knocked out. They were mouthpieces as 5 2-minute rounds because they want action.
Yeah.
So and there's a full minute in between rounds as well, so they get a little bit more rest.
Oh, okay.
But by the 5th round, like Artem was done.
Dude,
Artem
I don't know.
Gassed.
I think that's more detriment to have a full minute because I feel like you get a little bit more of adrenaline. That kind of compares to like wrestling as well because like in freestyle wrestling, you get a break in between rounds. I'm pretty sure it's 30 seconds. It could be a minute, but that tends to like. When you're in an intense fight like last night,
Very intense, yeah.
You tend to get a little bit of adrenaline dump, or you start feeling what you're getting hit with. I feel like like I've had matches where like, I've tweaked my knee or something and I don't feel it until after. But like if you gave me a minute between every round, I'd probably feel it by the fucking 3rd round.
I hear what you're saying. I could see where that could be something going on for sure. That 5th round,
because Lobov slowed down so bad, and he was starting to lose. So
if Knight hadn't been beat up so bad, he probably could have knocked Artem out.
He knocked him down in the first 20 seconds.
Yeah, well, Artem came running at him with his hands down.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Because that's Artem Lobov. He just doesn't give a fuck.
That's the only reason why that there's any kind of controversy is everyone's saying that first round there's 2 knockdowns.
No, one of them was a slip. There was a legitimate slip, but the thing was he did knock Artem down, but the ref at the time ruled it a slip. Oh, so that is what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you can argue afterwards. Well, yeah, but also,
I'm just saying
Artem legitimately knocked him down, and then to me, the second knockdown of Artem in that round, like if you count that first one, it was a slip. Yeah, like you could see his foot went up all crazy, like it literally like a cartoon slip. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the first one was a knockdown, but the ref ruled it a slip at the time, so that's what it was. But those are 10-8 rounds. Artem definitely had. You could maybe say the first round was 9-9, but then Artem 10-8, 10-8, and then you would have 10-9, 10-9, I think, on the last 2. Yeah. So either way, dude, it was a fucking awesome fight. Yeah. It was unbelievable.
It's crazy.
Both those dudes really put out a lot of fucking effort on that.
You think if Jason Knight won, they would have gave him Paulie Malignaggi?
I think so, because the president of the BKFC, who we're going to talk about in a minute, he came up afterwards and said that he was so impressed with Knight's performance that he was going to give Knight the winner of the Malignaggi Artem fight.
Oh, a rematch possibly?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
shit.
either he gets to fight Paulie or he gets to rematch
belts?
with Artem. Yeah. They handed out. They're new, so they're doing
Yeah, no,
tournaments.
it's only their fifth. That's why
Yeah.
I'm asking. I know it's their fifth event, so they've got to.
Yeah, they're doing tournaments in their weight classes. Like Johnny Bedford, a former UFC fighter, fought earlier, and this is the second round of the featherweight tournament that he was in. But their weight classes are different. Like featherweight isn't the same thing. Like last night, Artem fought at 145 pounds, which is featherweight UFC, welterweight BKFC. Okay, so their featherweight tournament, they're like bantamweights.
Yeah, 135.
Yeah. So, but they're doing tournaments. So they awarded a belt last night to who was it? I have to look her up real quick on here because there were so many. There's a little too many. She's a local girl though.
Oh, really?
She's the featherweight female champion. They got these crazy belts. They have like 3 eagles on top of it. It doesn't look like any other promotion's belt. It was pretty crazy.
Isn't
Christine
Beck Rollins
Faria.
champs?
She's here in Las Vegas. She
cool.
beat Britain Hart, who was coming off a championship fight against Beck Rawlings, who was like their first champion they crowned.
Wait, so Beck Rawlings isn't champion?
Yeah. She's defending, yeah. She's the queen of bare knuckle, they call her. She's the champ.
At what weight class?
I'm not
So
certain.
are they different weight classes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're close. But they're different.
Damn.
But she came out
She's
and
a
just
savage.
murdered this girl in the second round. Like the first round was good, and then she came out in the second round and blitzed her in the opening because they line up, folks. Like there's like an old school scratch line. Like you hear people like toe the line. That's where it comes from. They fucking line up about a foot from each other, and then the ref is like knuckle up, and then they fucking go. And she blitzed her in the second round. This Hart girl, and tore her fucking eyelid. Like she hit her like 6 punches in the grill. And her eyelid was split, and they have to stop the fight because you can't fight with a split eyelid.
Fuck that.
You're gonna get seriously
Get
hurt.
out of here.
So she won the title last night. It's kind of a weird title. It's a Police Gazette, something or the other.
What?
Female. Yeah, I guess
Sweet.
the Police Gazette is sponsoring it.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
Small promotion. They got to make their money where they're making their
That's
money.
true.
You know. Then Johnny Bedford fought. He.
I mean, they must have money though, because they
got something
They're
going on.
paying Paulie a fucking.
They're paying decent. Their pay-per-views are selling, from what I understand, and their venue costs are small. I mean, it was in Mississippi last night. You know, it was in a smaller place. There was probably 1,000 people there.
Yeah.
They're doing it more for the pay-per-view.
The one in June is in England.
That's gonna be a bigger deal because this Artem fight is catching some noise today. But Johnny Bedford beat a guy named Abdil Velasquez last night in the second round of that tournament.
Yeah.
And they had the other bracket, the end of that bracket fought on the card too. A guy, let me look his name up too, Reggie Barnett, who's he's a boxer. He defeats Rusty Crowder last night by a decision.
Then Chris Lieben got the win as well.
Chris Lieben, very famous former Tough alum and UFC fighter, just like Bedford is a Tough alum and UFC fighter, but Lieben came out and just blitzed the dude.
that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Put him out quick. That dude, I don't know.
Well, that dude's real suspect.
I think, yeah. Also, like, I feel like, I don't know if he was completely knocked out. I just think he felt like how hard Lieben hit, and he just didn't want to get hit like that anymore. So he just kind of was like, fuck that.
Well, look, this is nothing to take any shine off of Chris Lieben because Chris Lieben needed that win coming in. Like, he just came from that. We mentioned earlier in the episode.
Well, I mean, that's 2 wins on bare knuckle for him.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier in the episode that there was another defunct organization that was bullshit. Well, he fought them and didn't get paid.
Didn't he win that fight, though?
Yeah, he won that fight, didn't get paid. He's actually suing the owner of
Wasn't
the
it Phil
old
Baroni?
promotion Phil Baroni, exactly.
Yeah.
Phil didn't get paid either.
Damn.
But the owner of that World Bare Knuckle Fighting Federation or whatever it is sitting in jail right now, so Lieben's not likely to collect his money. So it was good for him to come into the legit Bare Knuckle Fight Club, get a win, earn that check. I was happy to see it. Because the dude he fought, though, what I'm going to say, he's lost 11 fucking fights in a row.
Oh, Jesus. Well, that's...
If you look across MMA and, not in Bare Knuckle, okay, but, like, he's a fighter. He's in MMA. He's been in a few different promotions, and he's lost fucking 11 fights in a row. So,
damn, son. That sucks.
Chris Lieben was supposed to kick that ass.
Yeah. He fucked him up, though.
He fucked him up. He came out and
he was just like,
good,
nope,
man.
stop. And he sat down. He's like, fuck it.
And then another UFC alum, Isaac Valley Flag, fought. He defeated Randy Hendrick, which was a local fighter, TKO round 3 in I thought it was a real entertaining fight. And I like seeing him come in because he's another fighter who was in the other organization who didn't get paid off that fucking card.
Damn, really?
So, and he's a former UFC fighter as well, Strikeforce fighter. Yeah.
Sean Marion almost fought on that card, you know that?
Yeah, he pulled out at the end.
Pulled out at the end. He's like, fuck that.
Yeah, he sniffed the bullshit out.
Well, he's a legit businessman. So, like, you know, he's like, nope. He smelled fucking blood in the water.
Yeah, that dude's got some.
He said he still wants to fight Bare Knuckle, though. I wonder if he ends up fighting for
Bare Knuckle. He probably will. He's probably waiting to make sure this shit doesn't happen to him again. But
probably, yeah.
From every indication, BKFC is legit. Now, so Valley Flag won, which is cool. He's like 40 years old, man. I didn't
really?
He was Jesus. Johnny Bedford's 36, man.
Really?
I thought Johnny Bedford was young. I remember him on Tough. I mean, he fought in UFC.
My brother's friend fought him.
Yeah, did he? Yeah.
He TKO'd him.
Nice. That's fucking dope. There were some other fights on there, but we don't need to go over every one of them. But one I do want to center on, that Reggie Barnett, the boxer, versus Rusty Crowder. Crowder employed a strategy of a lot of backwards fighting. All right, I've seen enough boxing and enough mixed martial arts, just like you have, and I think you'd agree with me if you'd seen it, where he was employing a strategy, and he was winning a lot of exchanges. Like, if he'd have done it a little bit better, he could have won the fight. But he was moving backwards a lot. Yeah. And then the weirdest thing happened, and it's my only complaint about this event, and I tweeted about this too. A lot of people were like, what the fuck? And the audience, the live crowd was fucking silent, and the announcers didn't say shit. They were like, it's just dead fucking silence. The BKFC president comes up after the fight, and he says he wants to make an announcement. And he says that the BKFC is all about action and putting on entertaining fights. And because Rusty Crowder spent 5 rounds, quote unquote, running during that fight, that he was taking half of his fight purse away from him and awarding it to Reggie Barnett. And then it was just dead fucking silence. Like, nobody said shit. And then he was like, BKFC, action, and then walked off. And then the announcers didn't say anything. The crowd was dead fucking silent. Damn. And I was like, damn, that's fucked up, man.
That's pretty fucked up, man.
Like, they're probably doing a win and show bonus, you know what I mean? So he's losing half his money because he didn't win anyways, and then they're just taking half of it away?
That's fucked up.
That's fucked up, man.
He probably doesn't make that much either. They were like the first fight on the card.
Yeah, dude, he's probably like 10 grand maybe if he's lucky. So now he's getting like 5.
Fuck. And he got his ass beat? Damn.
Right? I was like, God damn! I didn't think that was cool. I don't think that's necessary. Like, if you don't like the fighter, then don't put him on your card again. But
yeah, don't do that. That's
dude, don't take half a man's fucking money away. It didn't come across well. You could tell everybody was like, the announcers, they didn't even bring it up. They were like dead silent for a good 20 seconds, and then pretended it didn't fucking happen.
Of course. Why? What else could they do? That's fuck that.
Other than that weird thing. Great fucking card, great promotion. I like what they're doing. I am now a full-fledged fan of Bare Knuckle Fight Club events.
Hell yeah.
I am seriously looking forward to. Now we've got June 22nd. You said it's going to be in England. I hadn't heard that. That's great if they do that. I think because Artem, he's a big draw over there. He has a lot of. He's got the Russia fan base, the Ireland fan base.
It's gonna have good build up too. They're gonna talk shit. They're gonna bring up the shit from Maymac. All that bullshit. You know?
All the Conor McGregor. I mean, let's be honest. Why
Conor
is Paulie
McGregor
doing
was
this?
posting that shit about. Yeah, he's trying to call Conor into there.
I guess the man must be broke, and he wants that Conor money, and he sees this as his avenue to that Conor money. Yeah, he sees what happens. I mean, maybe Khabib slapped Artem, and look what Artem did, or what Conor did.
I think he slapped Artem on purpose.
Did you hear Artem's response to that? I found it hilarious. Yeah. They were asking him before the fight. They were like, "So, what did you think about Paulie slapping you?" And he's like, "Oh, he slapped me. I thought that was a mosquito hit me." And then he goes, "Did he break his hand? Okay? Did he break his hand?" Which is funny because Paulie's got a history of not having any power and broken brittle hands.
That's what's weird. You're fighting bare knuckle with brittle hands, bro. You're gonna get fucked up.
Dude, look, Paulie's a world champion boxer. That can't be taken away from him. But what also can't be taken away from him is the man in 40 fights had 7 TKOs or KOs. Yeah, 7. That's crazy. He does not have power.
Well, maybe he think he could just outskill Artem. I think he can definitely probably outskill Artem if it came down to it. just based off basic instincts. If Artem comes out leaning punches like he did last night,
Yeah, I think Artem would likely use that dirty boxing clinch, which Paulie ain't gonna know nothing about a Muay Thai clinch is allowed.
Well, and if this motherfucker's taking everyone's purses for fighting like that, Paulie's fucked.
Yeah, right.
Like shit, dude. He's just like, what's he gonna come out and be like, Paulie, you won, but all you did was back up and hit him with body shots.
I think in a boxing match,
I'm taking your fucking.
You know, like straight boxing. Like if Artem has talked about going to boxing, if he did that and fought Paulie, he'd get murked.
But like I don't know. In Bare Knuckle,
Bare Knuckle, I think he's got a chance here.
Yeah, it's like everyone says in the UFC, anything can happen with 4-ounce gloves. Think about anything could definitely happen with bare fist motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In a small little circular area. Yeah, against a guy who's not going to be worried about that knockout power. I think Jason Knight hits far harder than Paulie Malignaggi does.
I don't know. I'm curious to see what Paulie Malignaggi looks like when he gets back in shape.
Yeah, we'll see.
What weight are they fighting at? 145?
I'm assuming it'll be 45.
Damn. The only thing I can think of is Paulie Malignaggi's kind of would think Conor would do this, so he would go to this shit.
Yeah, he figures he's going to put a
beat up Artem, and then call Conor out.
I got to tell you, I mean,
I would be down for it, though.
It's pretty obvious that I don't like Paulie very much. I find him quite douchey. I said that earlier. But he's also doing some shit. Like, have you read any of his interviews lately or heard his shit that's been on, like, MMA fighting? Like, he went on Luke Thomas's show, and he's legit. He was like, I don't want to just win the fight. I want to hurt Artem Lobov so bad that he'll never be the same. He won't be able to fight no more. He's like just saying all this like ridiculous shit. Like he's so over the fucking top in an obvious ploy to piss Conor McGregor off. Yeah. And the only reason he wants to do that is to get that Conor money.
And then Conor fucking posted those pictures of his face all fucked up.
Dude,
like,
Paulie looking all surprised as fuck.
Bro.
And like he didn't know what was going on. Like, duh, what just happened? Yeah. Crazy. I don't know, but it's going to be a fun time. No matter what happens, that's going to be a fucking good build-up.
Imagine if the GOAT beats him, dude.
Dude, that'll be the greatest gift that could happen for me
classic if that happens.
Oh, man. Especially if he, like, breaks his jaw or some shit, because Paulie's always yapping.
Dude, I just think what most likely will happen is Paulie's hands will both of them break about round 3, and then he'll just be
that's kind of a joke that people used to make about Artem in the UFC is that one of his strategies is to break his opponent's hand by using his head.
I think it could work.
But in all seriousness, that's something that could happen.
Didn't he win in the Ultimate Fighter like that? Or something like that?
He just knocking fools out on the Ultimate Fighter. That was his greatest run, unfortunately. Too bad those don't count on his record. They should. They were solid victories.
Couple comebacks.
He peaked in MMA on the Ultimate Fighter in this fucking exhibition, technically.
Yeah, but how many of those guys are in the UFC right now?
None of them. None of them have a name, and none of them are getting a headlining spot.
Actually, I think there's like 2 of them still.
Yeah, they might be. But they don't have that Artem following. He's got a good crowd. He's got a good fan base. The GOAT, man. Even when people mock him, they love him.
Yeah, because what's his name is still in there? The dude who beat him, Ryan Hall. He's still in the UFC.
Yeah, he gets to fight like once every 18 months because nobody wants none.
Nobody wants.
No one wants none of that leg lock shit. That 50-50 in that leg lock. They're like, no, thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to the UFC.
Yeah, well, let's take a look. Yeah, we got UFC 236. 2 interim title fights at the top. If we take the word interim out of it, these are great fights.
They're both legitimate, though.
These are good fights.
They're both legitimate interim titles.
These are good fights. Interim. Is the 155 really a legitimate interim fight?
Well, yeah.
Why?
Because I know. Don't think with your marketing brain right now. Think with your fairness brain. In all fairness, if Holloway's moving up and Khabib can't fight, Dustin Poirer is probably the number 1 contender at 155 with the resume he's put together.
I just feel it's more like Khabib won't fight.
Well, and here's the deal too: I see what you're saying. He probably won't fight Max if Max wins.
Well, I'm saying he is choosing to sit out so long that they're making an interim title.
Yeah.
when he doesn't have to sit out a year. He doesn't even have to sit out 9 months that he got. He could be out in 6 months if he'd make a fucking PSA, a public service announcement, an anti-bullying commercial. But he's like, no, fuck you. I won't make your commercial because Nevada has prostitutes and gambling. And fuck you. I'm going to sit out a full year. Like, okay. So now we have to have an interim title. And is that a legit title? That's my only question. I get it. I love the fight. Holloway versus Poirier, that's a great fight. I have no problem with that. Who doesn't want to see that? Yeah. I'm just like, fuck the interim titles. I'm just over it. But you're right. It is. I guess it's legit because the champ refuses to fight. It's not legit because the champ is injured.
Well, and here's the thing,
which is what it's supposed to
be.
The
champ refuses to fight, and the number one contender refuses to fight. So that's why Poirier got the fight.
Well, yeah, Tony Ferguson turned it down. He's got some crazy shit going on, though.
Yeah. I'm sure he didn't want that all to come out when that happened.
Yeah, we don't need to get into it because we don't really know what's going on. Yeah. But he's got some personal issues. Yeah. Legit. So he turns down the fight. Yeah.
And then so Dustin Poirier steps in and he's like, hey, man, I got a W over Max Holloway already, so what's up?
Holloway, the 145-pound champ, coming up interim. That'll be an interesting situation if Holloway wins and is the interim.
He'll be the interim champ.
He'll be they technically can't say champ.
Well, he's gonna be the champ, interim champ.
They have to call it the interim double champ.
Nah, he's champ, interim champ.
Champ, interim champ. They can say that.
They can't
do champ technically. Because Conor McGregor trademarked that shit.
Yep.
But I don't know. It's kind of a mess. We'll see if Khabib fights one of them when they come back. But I do love the fight. And I guess as far as legitimate titles, you're correct without any argument from me that the 175-pound interim title, or 170 is legit. Yeah. Gastelum versus Israel Adesanya. Robert Whittaker's injured.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're talking, he said maybe like November. That's
Remember when that first happened? He's like, I'll be back in 6 weeks. And no, you won't. No, you won't. You could have died.
No. He didn't say that. Dana White said that. Yeah. Dana White said it should be 4
that was
to 6
never going to happen.
Recovery.
Yeah. But, so that's a legit bout for sure. Definitely. Well, who do you like in this? Let's just talk about Max Holloway, 145-pound champ. Dustin Poirier, number 2 or 3 ranked lightweight, interim title.
You know me, it's always the question is, how can you handle the pace? Because Max Holloway's going to put the pace on you. And Dustin Poirier's got some, and Dustin Poirier's got some crisp punches as well, So, I don't know. This is a tough one for me, for sure. I like Max, but I do think he tends to be a little reckless in the striking. And I do think Dustin Poirier has the power to drop him.
Yeah.
Like, we saw it in the Justin Gaethje fight. We saw it in the Eddie Alvarez fight twice.
Poirier's power is translated very well to 155.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The thing is, Max could see a good transfer not making that cut. He's a big dude. He's 5'11".
Yeah, for sure.
That's a big weight cut to 145.
That's true, but I think Max is more of a volume striker than a power striker.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think it'll move up with him, but I think it's just going to be a question of, do you have that same speed and pace at a bigger weight class, which I think he obviously does, considering he probably cuts down from 85,
Right.
So, I don't know, man. It's going to be
I like Holloway. I'll come right out and say it. I like Holloway in the fight. I think he's going to put it on.
Do you have a prediction on how it ends?
I'm going to say like TKO round 3.
Wow.
Yeah, TKO round 3, Max Holloway. Interim champ, 155.
I could see
Reigning
that.
Champ,
I definitely could see that happening. I'm just not counting Poirier out is what I'm saying at the end of the day. I think Holloway probably gets it done, but I wouldn't be surprised if
I don't think it'll be a walk in the park, but I think it'll...
My question is, do you think Poirier goes out there and tries to grapple him? Because he fucking subbed him last time.
Well, that's a possibility.
I mean,
I hadn't really thought too much about it because he's been pretty up with his fists lately.
That's the thing, though, but think about this. People always talk about, Max stopped Brian Ortega's takedown. He's like, yeah, because he saw him coming, and he's not really scared of Brian Ortega on the feet. Dustin Poirier is a problem on the feet, and he's a problem on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless Holloway's going to be able to go out there and have a lot more power than he did before and just fucking tag him up, which he very well can. I could definitely see Poirier use some of his wrestling and try to sub him.
Yeah, I'm not going to be shocked if Poirier gets the win. I mean, I think they're both live dogs, but my prediction, what I think is going to happen, you seem to be leaning towards Dustin.
I don't know. It's not even that, though. I definitely think Max is probably going to put it on him, to be honest. But I'm just not counting Dustin out either. I know. I told you, I'm on the fence, bro.
All right, well, let's bounce into the second fight. Which one's headlining? Do you know? I'm not even sure who's that.
Holloway.
Holloway's headlining?
Yeah. It's because Holloway has
a real title, even though it's not on the line.
Yeah, I know.
That's a weird way to look at it.
He's going to have two different titles, too.
Traditionally, they go the heavier fighter.
He's going to have two different titles. He's going to have the old school title and the new school title after he wins.
Do they give that new school one for the interim as well? Yeah. What are they going to put? Well, because they put jewels in it depending on, your defenses. So
that's true. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't think they'd switch back to the old belt and hand that out at all.
Yeah, you're right. They're not going to do that. So. There you go.
I bet you it's just a little plaque that's like either interim or not,
Yeah, they probably just slap a little fucking plaque on there. You're right. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Well, all right, so we got Kelvin Gastelum versus Israel Adesanya.
If I was these guys, I would just win the title, lose the title on purpose, win it again, lose it, so I can just keep getting more belts.
More belts, right.
That's the way to do it. Fuck a jewel.
UFC going to pay.
But, yeah, okay. Israel Adesanya versus Kelvin Gastelum.
Dude, I personally like Kelvin. We've had the pleasure of meeting him before. He's a nice guy. He's a weed smoker.
Yes, he is. He is all of those. Now,
but I don't think he can I don't think he can beat Israel Adesanya, and that's nothing against him. I don't think there's too many people on this planet going to be able to fuck with this kid.
I think it's all going to depend on the composure of Israel Adesanya. He just can't get too wild. He can't get too showboaty because Kelvin Gastelum has serious
You better
power.
take Kelvin real serious.
Yeah.
Kelvin's no fucking joke.
Kelvin's definitely going to try to take him down, though. That's going to be plan number one. But the question is he fast enough to catch him coming in? And I definitely think he is. Maybe a flying knee or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That could happen for sure. But then again, they could be on their feet. Israel starts with his hands dropped and up comes the bomb. He just doesn't. He's maybe a little in the moment and gets caught.
It's a big size and reach difference there.
He's still a young guy too.
Yeah.
Kelvin's kind of been there, done that. So I think that's going to be big for him.
I tell you what, if Israel comes out and somehow manages to just put it on Kelvin, like whoops that ass, I think that's it. No one's fucking with him. Robert Whittaker's going to come back, and I love Robert Whittaker. He's a tough son of a bitch, but he'll get fucked up too.
Happens, yeah.
I mean, if he walks through Gastelum, like he's been just walking through people pretty much. He's been whooping ass. He had a couple tough outings in the early times. He won, but they were still a little. He had a little adversity.
When was the last time Kelvin Gastelum got knocked out, though?
Oh, the Kelvin?
I don't think he ever has. I think his only losses are by decision and submission. He has, 3 losses? 2 losses?
Yeah.
I think he lost to T. Wood by decision. He lost to Uriah Hall by decision, right?
No, he beat Uriah Hall.
Oh, he beat Uriah Hall, yeah.
The Ultimate Fighter.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, he lost to T. Wood and Chris Weidman. I think there was only 2 losses.
He's not been slept, as far as I know. He's never been knocked out completely. So
you never really see him get dropped much either.
No, so. He's a tough.
He's got a tough chin. So this is going to be big. It's.
I'm
this is a
looking
good
forward
fucking
to it,
fight, man.
It's going to tell
I'm
us
taking
a lot.
Israel.
I'm taking Israel too. I love Kelvin. Israel is going to win that fight, though. That's the way I fucking see it. There's some other fights on that card, but I mean, those are the 2 main big dogs. Did you hit this Tahoe OG? In this bong
no,
right
G.
Here? You should hit that, man. It's a little heavy, but it's good weed. What we got in this grinder right here? Is this that
It's my retirement fund, dude.
This is the 401k. That's nice and light green. This Tahoe OG is dark. This 401k is light green. I like this bud though. This shit is sticky as fuck. I can't even use my grinder.
Yeah.
Because I have such a shitty grinder.
Hey, man, what the fuck? I got you there, grinder. You dick.
It won't grind up this sticky icky though. Well, man, we had some big ass announced fights this week. We had like
shitload, dude.
Too many for us to name. We can't possibly go through all of the fights that were announced.
These are just the bigger names.
But the fights that we found interesting. I mean, we had a fighter who just had a big win over David Branch. Like, he went out and subbed David Branch, former WSOF champion. David Branch can fight. David Branch
is also a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and he went out and got subbed like a rookie in the first fucking like 40-something seconds.
Yep.
Who are we talking about? That'd be that
Jack Hermanson.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Hermanson.
Jack Hermanson, one of the two, man. He's a tough son of a bitch. He's gonna
fight Jacare.
Stepping in, Yoel Romero had that
out again,
fight.
Man.
Got some weird sickness. Can't fight.
I don't think he wants to fight Jacare again, dude. He wanted to fight Paulo Costa.
This stuff keeps happening. Yoel keeps having some issues of one sort or the other, and we losing these fights. And he's old. He's an old ass man, isn't he? 41 now.
Sure.
I mean, how long is he going to be? I
He's
know
like
he's a physical
61.
specimen.
He's like 61.
He's still got plenty of game, but how much longer before he has a fight? But anyways, he's out against Jacare. Jack Hermanson stepping in. We might see some jiu-jitsu. Now, of course, Jacare is a fucking ridiculous black belt.
Watch your ass.
But, man, this guy's got like 8 subs now.
Dude, have you ever seen the video of Jacare win the Worlds with a broken arm, dude?
Yes, I have.
He fucking his fucking arm just hanging. He didn't tap. He fucking sticks it in his gi and under his belt, and then he just fucking wins with the timeout because he didn't tap and he's broke his fucking arm.
That's exactly what happened, folks.
That shit's crazy.
You could YouTube that shit.
That shit's nuts.
It's fucking crazy.
That's a tough motherfucker, man. And then he's coming off that win against Weidman where he was losing that fight and came back and got a fucking devastating knockout.
That's the thing, that Jacare went from being such a high-level jiu-jitsu player
he's got
to some
fucking
hands.
Yeah, he's got some good
hands. Like, you can't deny.
Yeah, I like Jacare there.
You should hit this weed right there. You can't deny that he has some fucking power. So, I mean, he's probably going to win. But I'd kind of like to see this dude continue his improbable run. Hermanson. However we improperly are butchering his name, that'd be pretty cool if he won, just because I like to see a new name up there. You know, he handled Branch so easily. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, he's got to be at least solid.
Yeah, so that's an interesting fight that's coming right up. We got a bantamweight fight that I like.
Jimmy Rivera trying to get back on track, but against Peter Yan, who's a fucking world beater. He's a tough guy, man.
That's a pretty sick fight right there.
Yeah.
That's a high level bantamweight fight with some consequence behind it. I mean, Yan beats Rivera. How does he not immediately jump into title contention?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Jimmy Rivera gets a win over Yan, who's been surging.
Is that the same night as the bantamweight championship fight?
This I'm not certain of.
I want to say that is. So maybe it would be smart if Jan were to jump on the mic and be like, hey, I want the winner of the main event.
Whoever wins that fight should jump on the mic and call for the winner. Absolutely.
Jimmy Rivera cannot call for that, dude. He's lost 2 in a row. If he loses this, he'll be 3.
I keep thinking of him as his awesome 19-1 self, but he's not that anymore. He keeps getting fucking lit at this higher level.
He got lit up by Aljo.
Yeah.
He got lit up. But all right, so
but that's a good fight. That's a good fight. We got Neil Magny. Yeah. Who's he fighting?
Vicente Lique, who's coming off that loss to Damian Maia.
Yeah. I don't know.
Neil Magny is a definite journeyman, but he could probably win this fight. I don't know.
Neil's got a lot of skill.
Yeah.
But he's lost a lot of fights lately.
Yes.
He's been on a bit of a losing streak. I'm kind of surprised he's still getting co-main and high-level spots.
Right, didn't Lique fight Damian Maia last?
I thought Magny fought Maia pretty recently, too. But they're both coming off losses. Either way, they're both coming off losses. But it's a good fight.
Yeah.
It's I've always liked Neil. He's a tough alum as well. I like a lot of the guys that wind up in the UFC coming off of the Ultimate Fighter. But
I'm looking it up because I don't want to fuck it up if he is.
who, Magny?
No, Luque.
Luque? I'm pretty certain he's coming off a loss. But not to Maya.
I don't think so.
Good
The
old
silent assassin.
The silent assassin.
Oh no, Luke is the dude who beat Brian Barberina last. Remember he had that drag it out war. He's actually
thank God for the interwebs.
Good luck we looked that shit up.
Right.
He's on a 4-fight win streak. This will be for his.
Well, sorry, Luque. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was a fight too.
I knew I was fucking it up. I was like,
Barberina did all right in that fight too, but he got whooped on, but he showed a lot of
it was
a lot of
fucking
grit.
sick fight, dude.
Yeah. All right, so
He's gonna fuck Neil Magny up, dude. He's gonna fuck him up, dude.
Neil Magny's gonna get
Neil
licked.
Magny's
Sorry, bro.
fucked.
You're fucked. Yeah, that dude's going down.
And then next weekend, we got. Or when is that? Is that next weekend?
On 420.
Yeah.
It's not next weekend. It's the week after.
Weekend after, yeah. Alexander Volkov unfortunately had to step out, so now Alexei Oleinik is fighting Alistair Overeem.
Dude, Oleinik is a fucking
He's gonna Ezekiel choke
submission
his
beast.
ass, bro.
All those Ezekiel chokes. His record is ridiculous. The number of Ezekiel chokes that dude has is ridiculous because we're sitting here talking about an Ezekiel choke, which we've never talked about on the show before. Why? Because nobody does them except this dude.
Yeah. I think he's got to hold the UFC record for sure.
He probably holds the
5.
MMA record for him.
Yeah.
Definitely the UFC record.
Yeah. All right, and then a fight that we knew was coming, but now it's finally official. You got John Jones fighting Thiago Santos on International Fight Week,
which we will be all up in.
Yeah, Jones gonna fuck him
all up in that fight, all up in that week.
Yeah, Jones is gonna fuck his
gonna
ass
get
up.
all up in that ass. He's gonna fuck that dude up, man.
And then the co-main event of that fight will be Holly Holm versus Amanda Nunes, which is a hell of
dude.
A
That's
fight.
a hell of a fucking fight too.
This is like the final Amanda Nunes test.
Yes.
The this fight, if she already is the GOAT in my opinion, but all the doubters out there, this is the final fight to really
dude,
put her on the map.
This is the only high-level fighter
she hasn't
beat.
Faced
and beat.
Literally, she's beat Miesha Tate, Cyborg, Ronda Rousey, fucking everyone.
All of them.
Kel Pennington, fucking everybody.
No, this is the fight for Nunes right here, and I love Holly Holm, but the truth is I want Nunes to win because
what if
that
Holly
is a
Holm
fucking
just comes
record.
out and shocks the world, though?
Dude,
I could see it
awesome
happen,
too.
dude.
Like
Holly
she
Holm's
pulled
a
like
tough
Ronda,
one, yeah.
Like came out and just like all of a sudden was like, pa.
Although Nunes is, I don't know. I think Holly just has to be super, super technical if she's gonna beat Amanda. She's just gonna have to stay on the outside, not let the big strikes come, pick her shots, look for that head kick, and just drag it into the deep and deeper rounds and see what happens.
Dude, she might be able to do it. I mean, Holly.
She was able. Here's the thing: Holly was able to go 5 rounds with Cyborg, and Cyborg's got pretty similar hands. I mean, although she did knock Cyborg out, but
that fight aside,
given that that's still a tough
did
mofo to go
against,
5.
Yeah, 100%.
So I don't really have very many questions on Holly's chin, although she could go out there and get knocked out. Don't get me wrong. But I definitely think she has the tools as well to give Nunes all she can
That's a great fight. And to the haters saying Holly shouldn't get that fight because of her record in her last few fights, fuck that shit. She's faced nothing but champions.
Yeah, she she gets like championship fight, and then a random fight. Championship fight, random fight. Championship fight. That's all she does. Like and as she should, though, because she is a championship level fighter.
100%. And that is the fight that Nunes needs. Nunes needs that fight. That's the name. That's that's the final chapter. That's the fucking
I think this might be her final fight if she wins.
I think so, too. Me, too. And she will go out as the greatest female fighter of all time.
All time.
And she'll probably hold that distinction for a fucking long minute.
Yeah.
If somebody could put together a resume like that.
Yeah. But if she were to lose, she might find an even better story as like the biggest thing to ever overcome and then still be the GOAT.
Yeah.
Because if she were to lose to Holly, I'd imagine there would be an immediate rematch. She beats her, and then maybe they do a trilogy, and she beats her 2 out of 3. That would probably make the story even better.
Dude, I love that fight. I'm a huge Nunes fan. Amanda Nunes. You know, some people pronounce her name Nunes. I don't know which one is fucking correct. But no disrespect if we are pronouncing your name wrong, Amanda, but you are the shit. So that is the female GOAT. That is a fight I love. I'm stoked about it. But hey, let's talk about that John Jones-Santos fight real quick.
I already told you he's going to kick his ass.
Yeah, because you know why? Because Santos is a live dog because he's got that power. But John Jones of old, that dude who gets a little careless.
Yeah, he's
that
not
John
that
Jones
guy
is
anymore.
gone.
Yeah,
No, that
John
dude's
is
fucking
just
dead and buried.
technical now.
Yep, technical and serious as fuck in the cage.
And he's super cerebral, dude. He just sits back and he just looks at you, he times you, and just from there on, you're fucked. He's like a fucking general on the fucking battlefield.
Absolutely.
When it comes to his game plan. You know what I'm saying? Like and his corner is so smart with Greg Jackson there. You know, they've seen everything, you know.
And that's another reason Hawley stands a chance, because she's got that same camp, that game plan in camp. But yeah, you're right. They've seen everything.
That's one thing. If you're a younger fighter, that camp might not be for you. But if you're a championship level fighter, that's a camp for you, because everyone in that gym is super high level and super, you know, they're at the cutting edge. But if you're a younger fighter, it's hard to catch up to that. Yeah. But if you're a fighter of like John's level, of Holly's level, of, you know, the countless
that can be the missing ingredient.
The countless people that go through there.
So I'd love to see.
Think about how many people they have in that gym that have fought for titles or have been in title fights.
Oh yeah, especially over the years. If you count some that have left, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Imagine how many champions they've had.
A lot.
Quite a few.
And they're Santos, and it
like
might be
AKA gets a lot of fucking hype nowadays, but like 5 years ago, Jackson's was the gym. Yeah. You know what I mean? Everybody trained at Jackson's.
Absolutely.
Across the board.
John Jones, even though we both think it's a foregone conclusion, I can't wait for that fight. Dude. I can't. I'm so.
I'm always hyped to watch John anytime, dude. I'll watch John fight anybody.
Well, how about that Tyrone Woodley fight that just got announced?
Yeah, he's letting him and Lawler running it back.
Lawler in a rematch.
Running it back.
I think that's going to be a lot more competitive this time around.
You think?
Yeah,
I don't know. I think Woodley's might starch him again.
I think Lawler might come out and fucking put on a show.
I don't know, though, because he can't come press Woodley like he fucking pressed Ben. Because Woodley will take a step back, let you push him to the cage, and then it puts a fucking punch on your chin that you felt the last time, and you're going to bed again.
He might. He might not, though.
His resume says otherwise. I mean, given he laid an L in his last fight, but this is his chance to get back on the board. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think he's going to fight.
No, I think Woodley
I'm surprised the UFC gave him a fight that quick,
but I think it's going to be a good fight. I don't think he's going to go out and knock him out in the first round again. If he does, I think Robbie should probably retire.
That'd be 5 fights in a row he's lost, wouldn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Although, I mean, you can make cases. He's been out for a while, though. He had that torn ACL.
He lost RDA.
Dude, he looked killer in that Askren fight. Yeah, he looked fucking great.
Tough.
Man. Yeah. That was the most serious, fucking fired up Robbie Lawler I'd seen in years, man. Yeah. I was getting the chills before that fight when he was standing there.
That's part of the problem, though. He needs, I don't know. He can't do that against Woodley, is what I'm saying. Woodley will put him in a bed.
It's a good fight for Woodley to get back in the mix.
Dude. I think this is going to be a lot more focused Woodley as well, because he's got all these people around him talking shit about he's too much in this part of his life, this part, and he's like second guessing himself. He's even said
he's got the rap album in the TV show.
Well, he's even said in a couple interviews and kind of made it kind of think he's starting to doubt himself. He's like, maybe I am spending a little too much time rapping doing this. I didn't need to do those bonus tracks on my album. And it's like, all right, so if he stops doing everything pretty much and just doing his TMZ show and just like trains his ass off, he's going to be a scary motherfucker to fight in his comeback fight off losing his title and looking like garbage in there, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
you could tie. Speaking of Woodley and Lawler, I mean that ties right into Ben Askren.
Yeah,
he's fighting George Masvidal now.
Jorge Masvidal. And I mean, as of right now, it's either going to be in Chicago in June, right? Or Vegas in July.
I would rather it's Vegas in July just for selfish reasons.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's going to be a good fight, though.
Hell.
And can you tell me, is it Jorge or is it George? Because it used to be Jorge back in the day. I've been calling the dude Jorge for like 5 years. And then in this fight, we haven't seen him for a minute. And then he comes back and it's like, hey, I'm George. Oh. Like, or you could be whatever you want. I just want to get your name right, dude. That's all.
He's got long hair, too. He's
looking like he stepped right out of 1977, man. Yeah, he had the shirt unbuttoned, like the silk shirt on, his fucking long hair flowing, that beard. I'm like, what the fuck? Flip-flops on. Like, damn, dude. And then he came out and
pieced up Darren
Till. But so that's a good fight. I'm down
all
with
right,
that fight.
Well, I got to go on a little tangent here about Ben Askren.
So
Ben Askren is the fucking man, dude. You know, like he is the fucking man.
Why do you
Nobody
say so?
realizes what he's doing for wrestling right now. I got a fucking update the other day that Ben Askren is wrestling Jordan Burroughs at Beat the Streets, which is one of the biggest like, it's like usually a duel where the Team USA they duel another team, but it's usually what it turns into is like recent years it's turned into like some of the biggest super matches in like. And they just like
put together
people all over the world.
Jordan Burroughs been at
super match. I don't even know though because Ben hasn't wrestled on the world level in so long. He's probably he might lose because Jordan's a fucking savage. But I don't even think that matters. What matters is that he's getting the sport of wrestling so much attention right now. Through ESPN and through his interviews. What have you ever watched him in an interview where he hasn't either talked about a specific wrestler or said something about his own wrestling camp or a certain, like, you know what I'm saying? He's always bringing everything up. Or also, he's like so active on his social media that he's getting all these thousands and thousands of more followers, millions. I don't necessarily
He's always
know,
retweeting some wrestling shit and other wrestlers.
Exactly.
And 100%. He's all
the
about
amount
that shit.
Of give back that the amount of like no other wrestler's ever done that. That's what's crazy. Is like don't get me wrong. There's been great wrestlers in the wrestling community that help, like, you know, with camps and helping kids.
Yeah, or go coach kids like Cormier. As much as I talk shit, he knows, and he fucking teaches kids wrestling. And
but
shit. That's right on.
Nobody like marketing wise and like social media wise has given the sport of wrestling this much attention as Ben Askren has.
Yeah, not even
nobody, dude.
Like that. Yeah,
nobody.
No, that's word. Yeah,
like he has given the sport so much exposure, and then it all ties in because weeks ago, people at least that watch ESPN all the time probably had saw the NCAA finals, so it all ties in. And then you got Ben Askren, who you're like, oh, I saw him on, you know, UFC Fight Night, or if you saw the pay-per-view and shit like that, or through social media, and he's getting this cult following of either people that think he's a fucking idiot and hope someone just beats the shit out of him, or they're like, oh, this dude's a fucking asshole. Let's just see how far he goes with this, you know?
Right. No, I agree. You're dead on right, dude. Ben Askren putting it out there for wrestling.
It's crazy.
Very crazy. Fucking cool, man. And if he continues to win, he'll continue to get even louder voice. Yep. Like his social media has blown up quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Since he signed.
I don't know. Even if he loses, if he just keeps fighting people at the top and talking shit to him the whole time, I don't think it really matters. You know. Although if he does lose, he's probably just gonna retire. Because I mean, he's what, 34?
Yeah. I imagine if someone beats him,
he's like, fuck
he might just retire.
Yeah.
That wouldn't shock me.
Speaking of someone who was recently out of retirement, Josh Barnett went on Ariel's show the other day and announced not even announced, literally signed the Bellator contract on the table live on there, and then said he wants to fight the winner of Chet Congo versus Ryan Bader.
I like that fight.
I do too.
Scott Coker seems to like that fight. He says he's down for it. Obviously, it's not signed yet, but
Josh Barnett
quite likely to see
is still a fucking elite fighter too.
Dude, Josh Barnett's a fucking savage, and he hasn't taken much damage in these last few years. Like
he's super articulate.
That is a smart motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
Anytime, folks, if you happen to see a podcast that has Josh Barnett former UFC fighter, current Bellator fighter. As a guest, you should check it out. That's a very intelligent man, filled with all sorts of interesting fucking things to talk about.
For real, for real.
So I think he could beat Ryan Bader, because I think Bader's going to handle Chet Congo just fine. And Brian Bader versus Josh Barnett is a solid fucking
Here's the
fight.
thing, though. Josh Barnett poses a threat to Ryan Bader's biggest strength. Is Ryan Bader likes to take people down, control them, and ground and pound. Josh Barnett's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You're not just going to take him down, hold him down. You can ground and pound him. He'll pull a guard on you, and
he does a lot of those unique things
your
because
ass.
of his catch wrestling background as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a lot of different looks he can present somebody with.
Yep.
Bader.
And I think the size would come into play if he were to fight Bader. I think he's a little bit at least taller than Bader.
He is bigger, and
he's a big dude.
Bader's bulked up from 205.
Yeah.
Josh Barnett couldn't make 205 unless he cut his leg off at the fucking knee,
dude.
man. He's a big old dude. He's not like muscular, like Bader's all ripped and huge.
Nah.
Josh Barnett's just a big man.
Yeah,
he's just a naturally big, fucking strong man.
Yeah.
I actually, like, if that plays out like that, I would put my money on Josh Barnett if I was betting here in Vegas on the fight. I will put my money on Barnett.
That's a tough one for me. Let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's move on to our Fighter Who Smokes.
We got our Fighter Who Smokes segment. One of my favorites here. We're going to be going back to retired fighters once again. Hey, while we're talking about this, why don't you get a little bit of that 401k in this one of these smoking contraptions? And while I'm talking about our Fighter Who Smokes, we'll smoke some weed. This, we are going back to a retired boxer you may have heard of by the name of Mike Tyson. You may have heard of this guy named Michael Jarrod Tyson, born in 1966. Tyson is 52 years old, man. That's a trip for me. When I was growing up, Mike Tyson, he's the reason I became a boxer. That dude was he was like a superhero, man. 19 straight fucking knockouts. But I realized that there are a lot of people listening to this show who just know Mike Tyson from, like, now he's got his Broadway show. He's got his Mike Tyson's Mysteries on fucking Cartoon Network. Have you seen that? That shit's hilarious, man. He's more of a pop culture icon these days than a boxer. But, he competed in 1985 to 2005. He was the undisputed world heavyweight champ. He holds the record as the youngest boxer still to this day to win a heavyweight title at 20 years old. Like I said, he won his first 19 fights by knockout or stoppage, 12 in the first round. He won the WBC title in 1986 after stopping Trevor Berbick in the second round. And that's that big giant framed photo of that Tyson knockout I got out in my living room. That is that fight right there when he became the youngest champ. And then Tyson went on and added the WBA and IBF titles, defeating James Smith and Tony Tucker in 1987. And that, my friend, made him the first heavyweight boxer to simultaneously hold the WBA, WBC, and IBF titles, and he's the only heavyweight to successfully unify them. And then in 1988, he went on to become the lineal champion by knocking out Michael Spinks in 91 motherfucking seconds, which I remember that to this very day. When I was a kid, that was the shit. You know what was odd? That was the first pay-per-view fight that I remember where people were like mad because they went out and they spent like $60 on the fucking pay-per-view, and then it was 91 seconds, and they were like, what the fuck? Give me my money. There was some uproar about that. But Mike Tyson does not box anymore. Obviously, he has absolutely nothing to do with boxing.
Now he's got a podcast about smoking weed.
Mike Tyson's all about that weed life these days, isn't he,
He's got
Paul?
Tyson Ranch.
He's got the Tyson Ranch, which is a big project. Mike's been working on this now for several years.
2020 it opened.
Yeah, it's either 2020 or 2022.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's a big deal. He actually, he used to live here in Vegas. I've had the pleasure of meeting Mike in person, like not at an event where he was like signing autographs, but like I was coming out of Aria Towers, and he was coming out of the Gucci store down there, and like I was talking to my daughter who was with me, and I bumped into somebody. And I turned around and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," because I was looking to my fucking right and talking to my kid and walking forward, and it was Mike goddamn Tyson that I bumped into, and I was like, oh shit, and he just looked at me right, and he kept going, and I turned around and I looked at my daughter. I was like, that's Mike motherfucking Tyson. I was like freaking out. That's the only person I'm gonna get starstruck around, right? And like, so I went chasing after him. I'm like, come on. And like, he started walking around. Like, if you've been to where Aria is, there's like this big circular thing, right? So he was over where the stores are, and then he's walking around. And so I start chasing after him, and I'm just like, champ, right? And he turns around and he looks at me, and because I'm yelling champ, like other people are looking, and they're like, oh shit, it's Mike Tyson, right? So like this little crowd starts coming around, and he stops and he looks and he says something to his security because he's got his whole little group, right? And they stop, and now everybody's like, oh, can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? And he points at me and he goes, you and your kid, come here. And he's like, nobody else can come up. He's like, fuck this. Damn, nobody else. Then I'm like, dude, why did you pick me out? And he said, well, it's because you got your daughter here with you, and his little boy. You got your daughter with you. And I'm like, oh my God. And so like,
that's cool.
I have my phone, and so they're getting ready to take the picture, right? And so I give my phone to his security team that's with him, like, and he can't figure out my camera. So I'm holding Mike's hand for the camera, and he's got his arm around me, right? And then my daughter's on the other side. And it's like awkward as fuck, right? So I'm just talking to him. I'm like, dude, I was like, you're the reason I became a boxer. Like, I know this whole story. Like, I can tell you the facts. And he's just cool as fuck. Like, he's sitting there talking to me, and like, his dude finally figures out the camera, takes the picture, and then Mike just keeps talking to me, dude, for like, I mean, it felt like an hour, but it was probably like 2-3 minutes, which is a long ass time. Yeah. But the whole time I'm like holding his right hand, dude. Yeah. Like, while his boy's taking the picture, and like I can feel it. The power that knocked out all the motherfuckers in that right hand. Mm-hmm. I can feel it. It's coming into me, Paul. I'm like, oh fuck, I got Mike Tyson's power shooting into my hand right now. No, I'm just kidding. But like, it was fucking dope. Like, I'm thinking that shit. I'm like, I'm holding this dude's hand for like an awkwardly long time that he's knocked all these fools out with.
He's gonna knock your ass out.
No, he was cool as fuck though. And then he left. He took no more pictures with anybody else.
That's dope.
He went, got in his ride, and took off. And you've seen a framed picture I got out there, and like that's my Mike Tyson story. But for me, it was like a childhood hero. Like, it was the coolest thing that's ever happened to me in Las Vegas. But anyways, back into Tyson. Now he's all about the weed. He don't have shit to do with boxing. He's got Tyson's ranch. He moved from Las Vegas. Now we ain't here. Can't bump into him no more, man.
Damn it, dude.
Fuck. What is it? 40 acres he's got in Southern California. 20 dedicated to growing different strains. Like, he's bringing in high-level growers and cultivating his own strains. Like, Connor has that famous picture now of smoking some of that cherry pick kush, he called it. That's a strain that ain't out there.
Damn.
And what were you telling me earlier? They're going to split it, right? Like, it's 40 acres he's got. They're doing 20 acres he's growing, and the other 20 is for like...
It's going to be like a fucking vacation place. Like, it's going to be like a B&B, but like the weed ones. Like, it's going to have all like these different... It's basically going to be like a resort. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like they can go up there. You can hang out. It's like kind of like glamour camping. What do they call it? Glamping. It's going to be like...
Glamping.
Right? Like, it's not fucking stupid sounding like that, but like he said, it's like luxury camping.
Yeah, I think it's like cabins or something.
And you can like tour the grow op.
Yeah.
And he's also going to put on classes for people who want to learn high level marijuana growing.
Yeah, that's dope.
Fucking sick.
Joe Rogan told him he should get a gym and start training people there.
Yeah, that's when he said he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. He don't have shit. He doesn't even watch boxing.
Yeah.
But he's also got a new podcast, Hot Boxing, with Mike Tyson.
I've listened to a few episodes. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. I like to play on names,
Yeah.
The fucking... If you're listening to this and you somehow don't know what hot boxing is, folks, it's when you smoke weed in an enclosed environment and fill the area with smoke. And, Tyson fucking is all about that high life. I'd like to think that we inspired him, that he looked at our Smoking Weed and Talking MMA podcast and was like, we got to do what these guys are doing here on a much higher level, and we'll call it Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson. And they were like, that's a great idea. Now, I doubt that happened, but I'd like to think so, Paul. Fucking... I think that wraps up our Fighter Who Smokes, man. Yeah. Fucking good guy, Mike Tyson. Fucking catch his live show if you ever can, folks. That Broadway show is good. Surprisingly fucking good shit. And hopefully... someday soon, we'll be smoking some of his strains on our show.
All right, well, I think that wraps the show up for today.
I think so, man, which is good. We still got a full bowl of this 401k here to finish, so we're going to get to doing that. And Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for giving us a thumbs up on whatever platform you might be catching us on. You know, you can find our podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. You can listen to us on WBUZ, on radio.net, or the Orange Radio app on Thursday nights, 6 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
And if you head over to SWATmma.com, you can get that T-shirt Jarrod's wearing right there. Support the podcast, motherfuckers.
We got some fresh designs coming soon. All right, peace, everybody.
Later.